A lot has changed overnight, but Buick and GMC's commitment to you remains the same. We understand you want to feel safe, so we're offering current owners complimentary OnStar Crisis Assist services. Should you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% financing for up to 84 months with deferred payment options for 120 days. Plus, you may have the option to shop online and take delivery at home. Visit our websites for the help you need.
Visit AutoSpot GMC today.
Hello, my name is Mark Berry. I'm a 4-year Air Force veteran and close to 20 years of DoD fire service. Last year, June of 2019, we happened to have one of the hardest parts of our lives happen. We had a medical with me, ended up with massive hemoptysis. And during that time, while I was in the medically induced coma, my wife frantically looked for help. She found the congressman's office, which responded extremely quickly. They found out that I was improperly coded in the VA and quickly helped to fix it, which allowed me to get a medical flight to UCLA and get the medical treatment I needed, and that's why I'm here today.
I just want to say to anyone out there, if you have any federal issues, please visit your congressman's office to see what resources are available.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Hi, I'm Little Mr. God 2019. I just want all of the sailors in the USS TR to know that I'm thinking and praying for you. Thank you. Bye.
Hafide, my name is Kai, and on behalf of the Island Cuisine family, I would like to send out a great big Undunkulunesi Ziwas Maasi. Thank you to all USS Theodore Roosevelt sailors for all that you do. We wish and send all prayers for a speedy recovery, and we will keep you all in our thoughts. Thank you for your service. God bless.
Hafide, my family and I extend our deepest condolences to the friends, family, shipmates of the USS Theodore Roosevelt, sailor who passed away recently. May we join the people of Guam in extending our prayers and our support, and may God continue to provide comfort and strength during this very difficult time. Sudus Masi.
Hafide, I'm Jim Moylan, and I want to extend my condolences to the family members and the loved ones of Chief Petty Officer Charles Tracker Jr., who had passed and was amongst those who tested positive for the coronavirus on the USS Theodore Roosevelt. I understand the hardship one experiences while serving our country, and I appreciate the time and effort our military members put in to protect our country and her borders and the sacrifices they made, most especially at a time like this with the extremities of COVID-19, where we all are in a fight not many have experienced before. To all those affected by this, let's keep them in our thoughts and prayers. We are in this fight together, and we will weather the storm together. Stay safe and protected, and may God bless the sailors of the USS Theodore Roosevelt, and God bless Guam.
Funerals actually take a lot more planning than I expected. With us using Island Cuisine for the first time, of course we were iffy, but once they came and showed us their service, their food, tasted their food and everything, we definitely use them again because their service and food is just awesome.
Day Guam. Si Rod's Gimp, I'm introducing the 2020 Toyota Tacoma Access Cap T-Max. Este na mes, got to be promo United Airlines, $1,000 United vouchers. Offer na nangga, sabik man manono si Tacoma, Guam, Tacoma territory. Text si Rod's ginigi Atkins Pro Toyota, 671-788-2584. Alumbray, go si Rod's, sinanagan sa 671-788-2584. Offer na nangga. Let's go places.
Many accolades and celebrations.
This is what I think of the government.
Hop a day and welcome to our Thursday edition of Candid News. I'm Johnny Rosario.
I'm Troy Torres with my glasses.
It is April 23rd in this lovely COVID island of Guam.
It was a hot island of Guam. And Jesus, our Lord and Savior, please, if there's any business that the Leongro administration is going to open, let it be a salon. Because my hair is ferocious. I was thinking
And I got -2.
I was thinking of dyeing my hair blonde, but I'll just look like a freaking hot mess. I'll look like a prostitute that's been on the streets for 6 hours.
and look at Troy's shirt, guys. That's my favorite shirt.
That circus music is called Entry of the Gladiators, Thunder and Blazes. It was composed in 1899 by Julius Fusick. I think that's how you pronounce his name, I'm not sure. It's spelled F-U-C-I-K. It's just one letter off. And so this issue about, Johnny and Eric have been here for hours, right? And we've been talking about what is the governor, what has she been saying about the reopening of the island? And for as many hours as we've been here talking about this, we still don't have an answer of what it means, what she means by reopening the island. I don't understand it.
I think it has to coincide with the dummy or the
It has to coincide with the governor?
It has to coincide. What she's saying has to coincide with the zero positives that are showing up.
Yeah, but they're okay. Then that gets me even more confused because the government of Guam just released a statement saying that the Abbott testing that they've been doing is correct because they're using a 1 millimeter solution and not a 3 millimeter solution. And then you have Dr. Felix Cabrera telling Chris Barnett on KUM News, really good candy, that no, actually it hasn't been accurate. And so we are concerned. And so they're basing it on this zero,
because
whatever.
when those things that go up your nose, those Q-tips that go up your nose, the sample that they take from you, it needs to go into the machine dry, not wet.
Like from the nose to the thing,
To the machine,
not in a sample,
solution,
right?
not in a 3 millimeter or 1 millimeter. I don't know where our government's getting that, but I really think, and it's scary to think that they have to retest more people. Now, will the government ever say that they're doing it wrong? Never. Lulu Bell will never admit that they did something wrong.
I just love that more and more people are saying Lulu Bell. Like out of all the names, because I know Ishmael Velez has been coining all these names for her that sort of harken back to like communists or fascists and all that, or like Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, yeah.
But my favorite still is Lulu Bell, and it was made up by our friend Vanessa Navarro Bermudez. Well, anyway, so we'll get to that story. Is that our top one for today? Oh no, it's the removing of patients. So it's related, right? But this whole issue about what businesses are going to be reopened, when it's going to happen, and all this stuff. I think there's a general discussion on it because of ads that have been coming out about restaurants reopening
Yes.
on the 24th. I
This
saw
Friday.
some ads about that.
This Friday.
Oh, that's tomorrow, huh?
Yeah,
That's
just
tomorrow.
like the company, the printing company who knew that you needed essential, you needed a sticker on your car and you can buy it from there.
Oh, so this
Before-
is like inside
I
information?
think so. I believe so.
Well, one of the industries that wants to reopen, and for me, just with the limited knowledge that I have about the spread and even my own thoughts about what the spread actually is, not trusting what the government. Let me just make it clear: I don't trust what the government says. I don't like. I after a couple of weeks of hearing the BS that's been coming out of the government of Guam, I really don't trust what the government tells us, especially when it's the result of a question that's asked to the government. Whatever answer that they give to whoever the media is or the senators that are asking these questions, whatever answer that is coming out of the executive branch, I don't trust.
And if you notice, everything that every day that they have these whatever it's called, what are they?
Their 1 p.m. briefings
Their
or whatever?
briefings, they keep saying they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that, and then nothing, it doesn't come through. And as far as my main concern is getting the whole island tested so we know what we're dealing with, right? Now, everything else that comes with opening the businesses and all of that, we can't even discuss that because we need to fix what's going on now.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
we need to do the testing. Now, look, they said it's going to start on Saturday, and then there's news reports that they're already going to the houses at Estumbo. Whatever she's saying, it doesn't make sense. The only thing that makes sense is that somebody in this administration is waiting to line their pockets with the Abbott test kits that they're buying. And the reason why they keep saying tomorrow, next week is because the shipment still hasn't come in. They know what they're going to do. They just can't say that they're going to do it because they're lining their pockets. Follow the money, people.
So we are following the money, and that is a story that we're going to bring to you as soon as we get some validation and verification of some stuff. But that is a hot story that we are following. So as the governor or her administration, whoever, it's hard to even tell who's making the decisions in the executive branch. But decisions are apparently being made about the reopening of business. And real estate is one of those industries that has been asking the governor to include them in the essential business category. And I think that if they can do it responsibly, if they can, they're professionals who can follow social distance protocols and all that stuff, then why not? It's just that I don't have faith that some of these more greedy, money-hungry real estate brokers are actually going to have their people follow these protocols, because just by their own words, they seem to be way more interested in making money than and at the expense of human life. And one of those is Maria Miller, who is a member of the Guam Association of Realtors. And she needs a salon to open based on her picture. Go ahead and cast to my screen, Cello, so people can understand what I'm saying. Like, I don't really understand why she drew her eyebrows all the way down to the crack of her nose.
No, that is the shadow.
That is her eyebrow, Cello. That is, I'm so sorry to tell you.
Is she doing it in a
Joy, she's a Christian.
She's a Christian mother? Yeah, so, I mean, okay.
Don't forget who her best friend is.
Yeah, I know. So, Maria Miller in a WhatsApp chat room with scores of members of the Guam Association of Realtors, she was getting pissed off because some of their leaders had a meeting with the governor, asking the governor to make them part of the essential business category, and the governor didn't look favorably on the request. And so she was getting mad about that, and she was saying, that the governor should, and this is what she writes. And there's her phone number, just if you want to call her or whatever, if you need some real estate. She says, there is the government, their thought is that if one life is saved, all this is worth it, and it is not. They need to realize that people are going to die regardless of whether we open or not, but a lot more harm is done by letting the rest of us suffer so much. And need I say it again, we will remember who did what and who supported us. Now, I know a lot of people were very much offended about the whole human life versus profits thing. And yes, that offends me too. But what I see here, the thing that raises the alarm for me most is the last part of the statement where she says, we will remember who did what and who supported us. And that's because you see how politically active as a lobby group this Guam Association of Realtors is. They do not have a lobbying certificate from the Guam legislature. And so if these people are lobbying the Guam legislature, it would be in violation
Illegal,
of the lobbying laws of Guam. And we already know that they are lobbying the governor, and they are now mounting these threats or making these threats against the governor based on, at least for Maria Miller, the premise that making money is more important than preserving human life. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I think that they can do it responsibly, that maybe the governor should look favorably on this request, but
just not Maria Miller.
Not people like Maria Miller, because she's obviously not going to follow the rules.
Yeah, I know.
You know, because she is going to put her.
She's already put. We've gotten stories and stuff of her putting pressure on tenants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, what else? What else should open? I mean, this should be a public discussion that.
Well, Kmart.
I love Kmart.
Kmart opened some aisles, the baby aisles.
Oh, Prim.
Yes.
The underwear aisles at Kmart are reopened. I saw it a couple of days ago, a couple of nights ago. The alcohol aisle has always been open.
How about panties?
Yes, that's right there, front and center.
Yeah.
At the front of Kmart.
Okay.
You know what needs to? You know what is?
Everybody's gonna need to buy a size up.
You know what is so essential? And the governor, I swear, I will start a recall petition if she doesn't reopen this store.
You should just start it anyway.
Is Ross. Yeah. She needs to reopen Ross. And salons, I would say they're like this.
No, because there's no social distancing in salons, Troy.
Well, what if they let the beauticians go to make house calls like they used to in the old days? Remember?
No, because then that's putting everybody at risk.
Oh, because you have to.
Yes.
And you're going to be there for longer than 30 minutes at a time and all that.
Yeah. Sorry, no salons. It's okay.
And let me tell you, when you're size 46.
Who's size 46, Jalu?
And you wear a size 36 underwear. Thank you, Kmart.
So, I mean, what else is essential? Restaurants reopening and having dine-in service isn't that kind of like not really, the social distancing is not going to be a thing?
The restaurant says they're going to have social distancing in the restaurant. I don't know. I don't know how I will feel sitting down at a restaurant and my server's wearing a mask. I'll just take takeout. You know,
Yeah,
it's a mental. I think it's just.
Well, what else? What else is right today not essential that
is essential
can be considered essential?
I
right?
only want. Yeah, I want Ross. That's
just
it.
Ross,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And salons. Just when some salon, please open. Call me up, 456-4237. Let me know. I'll get in your chair. I have this mop issue on my head. I really want to do the blonde thing, but it's just not going to work out right now. Now, aside from the whole, well, there's more money stuff, right? More business stuff, and that is the Paycheck Protection Program. Oh, yeah, we do have some breaking news, and that is that, you know that program, the Economic Injury Development Loan Program? We have some information, and we're trying to verify it with the Congressman's office and the federal government that there was a local government of Guam problem that caused US SBA to award Guam $0 in economic injury development loans. And I saw the front page of the PDN where the headline is, Governor says federal loans will bridge everything. Not in this program, at least. Guam was awarded $0. And it's sad because that's the program where the first $10,000 of an economic injury development loan that a small business could take would have been forgiven. And so it was at least $10,000 in holdover money for companies that are in dire straits on this island.
Wow.
And for whatever reason, for whatever screw up that is the government of Guam, USSBA recently said $0 for economic injury disaster loans, which is a sad, sad thing. But can you go over that Paycheck Protection Program thing?
Yes. Let me get there.
Oh, Johnny gave me a Mexican candy. Tamaros. Sabor tamarindo con chile.
It is from Happy Mart in Barragata. It's delicious. The following is news from the office of Congressman Michael Siniclis. The House of Representatives is set to vote this week on a Senate package to provide additional funding for the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, administered by the Small Business Administration. The package totals $310 billion in additional PPP funding. Through the Financial Services Committee, we have been pressing hard for this second round of PPP funding to include a set-aside specifically for smaller banks and credit unions, opened Congressman Siniclis. Doing so will ensure we have a dedicated pool of funds Guam has a fair shot at, and we are pleased that $30 billion has been negotiated for smaller markets like ours, Congressman Siniclis added. The PPP is a federal loan administered by the SBA and processed by local financial institutions. Loans may be forgiven for businesses that maintain their payrolls. With more dedicated resources, we will be able to keep more businesses opened and more people receiving a paycheck, especially because these loans are forgiven if payroll is maintained to include back pay for workers who were initially laid off or lost hours as a result of the pandemic. Congressman Siniclis continued, keeping businesses viable and getting money into the pockets of our people while keeping them safe and healthy is so critical, and we are slated to secure funding for that shortly, Congressman Siniclis concludes. This second round of PPP funding will include $250 billion in unrestricted funds, $30 billion in funding for mid-sized banks and credit unions, and $30 billion for community-based lenders, small banks and small credit unions.
Cool.
And Guam, a lot of the banks here are under that, right? Because they don't make like billions of dollars like the other banks in the States.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how that
Our
stuff
scale
works.
is, so our scale is smaller compared to places like New York, California, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Nothing compared to what they process back there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why Lulu Bell has failed.
Has this failed, or is this
No,
just
I'm talking about our
the other one?
The stuff she oversees.
Oh, everything. Yeah. That's why it's no longer Lulu Bell.
It's Lulu Fell.
Yeah. Can I borrow your lighter?
Sure.
Not that you smoke cigarettes or
Yeah.
anything. It's my lighter,
I don't.
actually.
No, I do. But I'll get in trouble from my sisters if I smoke on camera.
Oh, I think I would get in trouble from my sister too, but she's all the way in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
so.
well, mine are all the way in the States, but if you know how when I yell or I nag, I really...
You don't nag?
Yeah, I do.
No, never. Ever. Josh told me you never nag.
He's lying. He just wants to sleep with both eyes closed.
So the federal stuff is not, it does seem, actually, the actions borne out have shown that the only people who are trying to help the people of Guam financially are the people in the federal government.
Yes.
Congressman Mike Siniclis, Congressman Gregorio Khalidi Sablan, the delegates from the other delegates from the territories.
They even took time out to say, hey, you need to do step 1, 2, and 3, and then step 4 says to go back to step 1. for every program.
And the local governments still
And
couldn't
they
follow
still
it.
haven't
Yeah.
done any of this.
Yeah.
Our legislature should have done it since last week to get these programs started, and it's still nothing.
So sad. And the timeline keeps getting pushed back. First they said, oh, don't worry, we don't need local legislation on the unemployment thing. Oh, don't worry, we don't need any local legislation on cash assistance. It's coming in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it became 3 to 4 weeks. And now,
Now
it's
it's the end of
after a
May.
month. And
The end
after
of
May.
May. Yeah, the
End of May, after May.
Yeah.
And so Senator James Moylan has cued into this. And to be fair, Senator Tina Mooney Barnes and Senator Chelo Chadegui also cued into the need to provide cash relief through the faster payment of tax refunds. And they have bills about that. The only thing is, it never made it onto the agenda.
Right.
Now Senator James Moylan has a solution to get the unemployment checks faster to people by using local money to front it, and then you just have people assign their federal unemployment paychecks for the duration to the government of Guam, so that when that money finally comes in, Guam is reimbursed for its expenses by making the payroll checks, right?
Yes.
Now, of course, because it's an idea from Senator James Moylan, we don't hear the rest of the legislature saying anything. And of course, Governor Lulian Guerrero already said, oh, I don't know.
Bless you.
And that's the corona.
No.
Governor Lulian Guerrero is already like, I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm not sure about that, Nick. You know? I don't know about that, Nick. But it's a darn good idea.
I don't know about bill number 340.
Tibisnesmu Balahaja says, Lulu, her favorite words, I wasn't aware, I didn't know, I wasn't informed. STFU, I am tired of the lies, bruh. It's all gonna be okay, it's all gonna be okay, the money's already in the Bank of Guam. AJ Cruz says, Ross needs to be open, my son barely has clothes, and people who are hurting only have so much to spend, and Ross is cheaper than anywhere else. You know, AJ, that's a point that a lot of our leaders don't really understand, is that when you're on the poorer side of the spectrum, you need to go to the store more often because you don't have the money to buy $250 in groceries for a 1 or 2 week period.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's a higher likelihood that you have younger children if you're on the poorer side of the spectrum, and that you can only afford so much at a time, especially if you don't have public assistance. Especially if you don't have public assistance, it means that you have a job that likely you've been furloughed from because of this pandemic. And so a lot of our leaders don't understand that. And AJ, you're bringing up a good point.
Can I just say, can I just ask I know some of our viewers, they're able to, we've gotten a couple of viewers who are able to help families that need help, but they don't want to be the hero of the day. They don't, they want to just keep this under wraps and they want to help. So if you're able to help, please contact, if you're able to help a family in need, whether it be a day for food or whatever you can give. I don't mind being the go-to person to give you to the person who needs help. So you can contact me at 797-7082 if you want to help, if you're able to help families that need something, and then I'll give you to the right people, because we are getting a lot of families that do need, even if it's just food for the day.
Julie May Kirigwa says, Ileknes Hika Tata Sulapi Parahamzu Tataltanu Sagagi Tolu Sulapi Bankuguan. Sabine Traglef asks, what is she waiting for? Talking about the governor, right? Sandra Ray just says, so for those going back to work tomorrow, will they still be able to recoup their loss in March and half of April? Why only half of April? But yes, they should. If they were furloughed, then they would be getting those checks.
Yeah.
I can't remember, the back date is March 12.
March 15.
Or 22. Are you sure it's 15?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so March 15. David Camacho says, MAGA Fafa can better run the government if chased down by Kandit News. She literally has run away from us. T-Business, well, that's the same thing. Julie and Kin Salas said nail salon. No need for polishing, but nail trimming and ingrown removal. Ouch. Alfred Tin Dugan says, is it possible to ask if her officials received their stimulus? Thank you, Dennis Mace, for watching from Nevada. We very much appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Andrew, for the God bless you. Ariel is, oh, everyone's saying God bless you. Thanks. It's not Corona. I haven't been anywhere. DT says, people strike back where it hurts. Close or reduce your Bank of Guam accounts and move to another bank or credit union, like Community First. If you need it for direct deposit, just leave $50 and transfer the balance to another bank. Or 2, make a list of the current senators and make your election choices now. We already know LLG. Vote accordingly. I've been seeing a lot of posts from people who've been, I don't think they mean to shame me, but you know, I voted for Lou. And they're like, see, you guys that all voted for Lou, I bet you're ashamed now, right?
I am.
I bet you're ashamed now. So
I am.
there is, we did do a couple of stories regarding the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas, and then we'll circle back to Guam. But this is also about money issues in the Commonwealth, and well, they kind of involve corruption. Well, they very much involve corruption as well. So the first is about the Board of Education over there, and how, well, the new news to this, on top of what we already published yesterday, is that the Board of Education actually voted unanimously to pass a resolution to ask the Marianas Public Land Trust for a loan so that they can take care of the cash issues that they have, basically pay teachers and staff who've been the ones who've lost the most because of the tourist regime. And this was even before COVID-19. This is through the first and second rounds of austerity. And then COVID-19 came along, and they became both the bastard stepchildren of the governor and the scapegoat.
And they're redheaded as well.
So I shouldn't dye my hair red?
No.
And so we've seen Governor Ralph Torres take pay away from these teachers and public school system staff, and then blame them for having to take pay away from the retirees. The legislature and the Commonwealth are trying to fix that issue now. But if you were in the public school system and you thought that your Board of Education, which is constitutionally autonomous from the rest of the government, was supposed to be defending and protecting you, you would have been dismayed watching the proceedings of the Board of Education, where Chairwoman Janice Tenorio and Vice Chair Sergeant Major Herman Attilig were batting for Ralph Torres instead of batting for the teachers and the school staff. And then you have the Commissioner of Education, Dr. Alfred Atta, also taking Governor Ralph Torres aside, saying, hey, you know, there's this situation in the Commonwealth. We had to sacrifice like everyone else. Let's listen to what Secretary of Finance David Attilig Jr. is telling us that we need to do so that we can all survive this together. But if that was the case, why is it that the public school system has to take the brunt of the sacrifice when the employees who are politically maneuvered toward Ralph Torres of the Department of Cultural Affairs, the Robert Kunter agency, they're being moved into essential government positions, federally funded. You have the cronies of Robert Guerrero, the Commissioner of Public Safety, moving his family into essential and federally funded positions. And this is just the tip of the iceberg.
But this is not new to the CNMI, Troy. He did this
in the
Typhoon
YouTube. Yes. This is the same sort of thing. And we're starting to look into it more about what's happening within the Commonwealth government, because we're sure that this is just the tip of the iceberg. In the meantime, the public school system is suffering, and it shouldn't, because it should have a Board of Education that is
fights for them.
Yes, because they have something special in the Commonwealth that the government of Guam doesn't have. Their school system is protected in their constitution. It's almost like they have the kind of protection that the government of Guam Retirement Fund has here on Guam. They have this special protection that protects their money and protects them against politics from ruining, the hiring choices and all that stuff. But when you have politicians that are aligned with Governor Torres, who are on the Board of Education and as the Commissioner of Education, now the teachers and the staff have to look over their shoulders to see whether those guys who are traitors to the teachers are going to be stabbing the teachers in the back. And it's such a sad situation.
Well, then I think after all of this is said and done, I really think they need to get a teachers association or.
Barry Mean was talking about that,
Yes.
a union.
A union.
A union going, yeah. And not that I'm against unions, it's just the only reason you need a union is because your management sucks.
And management sucks.
Yep. And that's why you need a union for a lot of government stuff, because management sucks.
Right.
Management is mistreating employees. Well, that was all for
Saipan, right?
CNMI, right?
Yeah. That's all.
So now we go to our two top stories, which are the forcefully removing, that'll be our last one. Was there another one before that?
No, we just went into.
No, the Abbott machines. Yes, the Abbott machines. Because we got this, the Joint Information Center responded to our story about how the test results on Guam cannot be relied upon because of information coming from Abbott Technology or Abbott Laboratories, that the way that Guam has been doing the testing for COVID-19 through their machines leads to false positives. And rather than acknowledging it and saying we need to retest the people who, at least over the last 2 weeks, have came out negative, including those who were tested from Saipan, rather than admitting it and saying, hey, we're just going to retest all these people because, we didn't know about this issue. We only found out from Abbott Laboratories recently, and yes, we're gonna retest everyone. Rather than doing that, something bizarre happened. The government of Guam came out with this statement. The Department of Public Health Social Services, Guam Public Health Laboratory, is aware of inaccuracy of false negative results from the Abbott ID Now laboratory instrument that tests for the virus for COVID-19. Public Health Lab has not conducted any of its specimens in the viral transport 3 millimeter dilution that would lead to a false negative. The laboratory was updated on April 14 by the Abbott Point of Contact Technical Consultant Trainer that there are some false negatives due to how the specimens may be stored through the viral transport 3 milliliter medium collection system. Dilution of swabs immersed in 3 milliliter liquid medium may have caused false negatives. Public Health Lab ran its validation tests using 1 millimeter liquid medium. The Abbott Technical Consultant Trainer acknowledged that Public Health's validations went very well, but that could be due in part to the fact that you're only using 1 milliliter of VTM for each swab, whereas many of our customers are using 3 milliliters. Since April 14, Public Health Lab has run 51 specimens with the Abbott ID Now, with results of 50 negatives and 1 follow-up positive. Public Health Lab will continue to accept, this is the worst part of it, they'll continue to accept 1 milliliter of VTM for each swab, which will minimize false negativity of the result and will yield higher accuracy and less false negativity. Abbott ID Now COVID-19 fact sheets for healthcare providers are attached to all negative results, followed by a medical disclaimer stating that there is a possibility of false negativity for which patient follow-up and repeat testing are recommended. So, first they give some BS that is not found in any of the literature that's in any of the national or international media or CDC, FDA, or Abbott Laboratories itself.
Yeah.
There is nothing that says, oh, if you use the 1 milliliter solution, it's okay. Just don't use the 3 milliliter solution. What Abbott, CDC, and FDA clearly have said is you take the swab, like you said, right?
To use the transport media at all.
Can you read, is that the thing, the Abbott one or the CDC one? Can you read that to everybody?
It says, in consultation with the FDA, we have instructed our customers not to use VTM for the ID Now COVID rapid test. The sample swab should be placed directly in the instrument for testing and not placed in any other media. We have updated our product information and are directly communicating with our customers. That is per Abbott. No, it doesn't say.
That's directly from Abbott, right?
Yes. So the story is DPHSS says it's okay that what they are doing, yet Abbott is very adamant that the labs are not to use transport media.
I'll guarantee you, public health, the government of Guam is just lying. They're just saving their asses with this lie. And the worst part of it is that they're going to continue to accept 1 milliliter of VTM.
Yeah.
Even though Abbott is clearly saying, don't use it, guys. It leads to false negatives. And so if you think about it, and think about this, it was Jacob Nakamura who was telling us, just think about, just use common sense, that of all of the tests that have been coming out, every single test that has been conducted by GMH since April 15 has come back negative. What is the probability? Because those are all symptomatic people and they are at GMH
These are
because
people who are inpatient at GMH.
because they got pneumonia, they have shortness of breath, they have the other symptoms of COVID-19. Every single one of them is testing negative. BS. Absolute BS. And on top of that, the April 13 death that public health and GMH are tossing back and forth like this big, political football of, oh, we're not going to be the ones to admit that we screwed up here.
Yeah.
We're going to throw this one back and forth, and then we're just not going to answer any more questions about it once we've blamed each other.
Yeah.
And what about everything else? What about all of the PUIs who died at GMH prior to them starting the testing on April 15? Because public health said that they didn't test them. So if public health wasn't testing them and GMH didn't have the ability to test prior to April 15, what about all those people? Why were they not included in the count? And even if they came back negative later on after the death and all that, and then they did the narrow nasal, whatever, the nose thing, and even if it came back negative afterward, that death of suspected COVID-19 infection, according to CDC standards, should have been reported to the CDC, just like Saipan did.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Just like everywhere in the world, not just Saipan, California, New York, Kentucky, everywhere.
And this is just, take your pick of what the government's been lying about. Take your pick.
The government is lying. My personal opinion, and it may not matter much to anybody, but the governor is not going to say they did something wrong. They want you to believe that her blockage at the road, at all these roads, are working. It's not working.
It's stupid.
It's the people like myself who actually stay home.
The road closures are stupid. A lot of things the government of Guam is doing is just very stupid.
It's frustrating. And according to the CDC, it says, in cases where a definite diagnosis of COVID-19 cannot be made, but it is suspected or likely, the circumstances are compelling within a reasonable degree of certainty, it is acceptable to report COVID-19 on a death certificate as probable or presumed. In these instances, certifiers should use their best clinical judgment in determining if a COVID-19 infection was likely. However, please note that testing for COVID-19 should be conducted whenever possible.
Word, sister.
I don't know where they're coming up with their rules and regulations and all of that, but we need a what?
Oh no, go ahead. You need a what?
We need a. I don't know how to help. I want to help.
So let's yesterday, Linda DeNorsi, one of the stupidest, probably the stupidest things that they've come up with so far, is this new policy that they're rolling out after they roll out their pilot program, and it's the people who test positive for COVID-19. They may yank you out of your home, and this is just word for word stuff from Linda DeNorsi. Let's listen to Linda DeNorsi. Go ahead and cast to my screen again.
To begin the investigation, to do the contact tracing. So later on, when we know that this person is positive in the household, we can identify contacts, i.e. household contacts and close contacts, so that we also want to test those in the household with this positive person to determine if they, even though they're asymptomatic, we want to test them. And of course, We don't want everybody in the household. We want to make sure that there's no cross-contamination occurring so we can control the transmission of this disease. And by doing so, we will assess if they have a condition in their home that's suitable for all of them to live in. But if it's not suitable, meaning you may have an elderly in that household with that positive patient, or another family member that has also comorbid conditions, we don't want all of you in that house. So what we'll do, we'll take out the person that is positive and put them in our government of Guam isolation area. And then from there, we move on. Sorry, that's a very...
We will take them from that household. So we will...
Unless you are part of this administration, you're allowed to go home and infect everybody else at your home.
That's accurate, yes. So we will take them, you know, the definition of take is to remove, it's a forceful thing. It's not like, it's just, there's no other way of looking at it. But there's the possibility that Linda DeNorsi, like her boss, said something that she didn't mean. But we did do a story about this, and we said they're going to take you from, they're going to yank you from your home and put you in quote unquote COVID-19 jail. What else do you call a facility where that you are placed into against your will, where there are guards and you cannot leave? It's jail. So we did the story, and most people flipped out, and rightfully so. But there were a couple people who were like, no, you know, that's not what they said. That's not what they mean. Well, number one, it's exactly what they said, because it was a word for word. We even did the video on it. But it's also what they meant, and this is how we know it is what they meant, is because today, so that video was yesterday, today, Governor Lulian Guerrero reinforced what Linda DeNorsi said. I really thought that they were, where's that ashtray?
And then we take the sword.
I really thought that Governor Lulian Guerrero was going to backpedal on what Linda said after realizing that it was just such a draconian, unconstitutional thing to do, and maybe people were misinterpreting the words, or maybe the wrong words came out and they meant something else. Maybe they was going to do a voluntary reform or whatever. But no, because Governor Lulian Guerrero today said the exact same thing that Linda said, and let's show you on the PNC version of the news conference today, you'll see it at 1 minute, 22 seconds in. Hold on, my computer's still loading. Go ahead and cast to my screen.
Tracing and with testing, we can identify people who are positive. And then we take the source of the spread out of the environment. Either we make sure that they home isolate with the CDC guidelines of home isolation, with monitoring regularly with these individuals, or if that environmental condition is not met, we will take that individual out of the environment and put him in a government isolation. That way, you are now eliminating the source of contact and transmission in that community area. So we continue doing that.
She said the same thing. There's no mincing of words here. What they mean to do is yank you out of your home against your will.
The source.
Yes,
Source.
and to eliminate you. She, honest to God, said the verb. It's eliminating the source of the contact. Holy Heinrich Himmler, Adolf Hitler, what the F is going on? And I don't know. Did anybody ask about that?
No.
I didn't listen to the whole news conference.
Not one person asked about it.
So it's just Ray Gibson, Mona Silva, and us asking about this? This is some cray-cray shiz. Let's see what your comments are about this. Loney Luke says, why only now when you started this COVID-19 treatment by placing them in their home with no follow-ups while there are kids and senior citizens in their home to begin with? Before it's go home and stay home. If you have coronavirus, no matter who's at your home, then all of a sudden we know that there could be cross-contamination. Probably because there's some funny business happening, and this is another story that we're working on involving Governor's legal counsel and son-in-law, Hai Hyun. There's some funny business happening in sweetheart deals between the governor's office, Guam Homeland Security, Office of Civil Defense, and hotels on Guam. This is just another way of filling up hotel rooms for cronies of the governor. Oh yeah, Saipan, don't you worry. Guam is filled with its own corruption stories that are pretty bad in itself. Frank Cruz says human rights do apply. The Castle Doctrine law will most likely be used by the people. There's something here about LGBTQ, but it's in a reply
They're
to
making
something.
fun of Joshua Tenorio.
Oh. How come now you guys don't make fun that I'm gay too? I'm a gay. Senator John Ananich, soon to be, says suitable conditions based on what or whose standards? What guidelines, if any, would be used to determine suitable conditions? John, like, how about what warrant are you going to use?
No, but they pick and choose when they want to use the CDC guidelines. When it fits their bubble, they use the CDC guidelines. The CDC guidelines are put there for them to follow, not remove some step number 2 and 3 just to fit what they wanted. And why the reason why Guam is so screwed right now is from the get-go, this disease came back from this virus came from their people. They're the ones who's put this on our island and spread it, and that's why they're so secretive, and that's why it's the way it is today.
Yeah, poor people don't have money to go off island and bring
Poor
that
people
stuff back.
it's not the one that brought the virus here, okay? It was the administration, her cabinet, who brought it here. That's why we don't know where it came from, what village it was in, and that's the reason why they were so secretive, and that's why they changed all this, the CDC guidelines and who can get tested.
Oh, but they're so fast to blame Bingo,
Yes.
Iglesia Ni Cristo.
Yes.
They're so fast to blame people who are not associated with them.
Yeah, well, they didn't blame GIDA, they didn't blame GRMC, and they didn't blame Homeland Security. Why are you laughing at me, Troy?
Or the Guam Golf Association.
They didn't blame those people. Now they want to go practice on a stumble?
I know. I have such a bad taste in my mouth.
They need to go practice at her own cabinet, practice on herself.
Rhoda Wistic says, bye-bye human rights. Michael San Juan says, constitutional rights. Frank, I keep seeing this Castle Doctrine. People are all up on this Castle. They're like, I dare you. I double dare you to come on my property.
Me too.
And take me out of my house.
My dog will get you before I get you. That's for sure.
Anthony Paris is the one that keeps saying, you see all you guys who voted for her. This is a perfect time for see I told you so people, right?
Yes.
So Anthony Paris says, oh wait, I just lost it. That's why all voters get for voting for Lulu. Lulu isn't a governor. Shoot, it just disappeared. The comments are coming too fast.
What's up, CeeLo?
Instead of Heil Hitler, it's Heil Lulubelle. Says AJ Cruz. Patricia Boykin says, because we love you, Troy. Oh, that's why you guys don't make Gela comments about me?
I make Gela comments about you all the time.
My brother makes Gela comments ever since. When I was either 15 or 16, my brother came into my bedroom, and like my wallet was on top of the dresser, right? And I had pictures of someone in the wallet.
A boy?
Yes.
Okay.
And so my brother is like, he's a real jerk sometimes. So he picks up my wallet and I grab it from him real fast, and of course the pictures fall down.
Uh-huh.
And all he says to me is, if you're an effing fag, I swear to God, I'm gonna beat the shiz out of you. But then when he found out I was gay, he was very accepting.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
super
when we go to
accepting.
mass together, all the old people are coming up to me like, oh, where's your partner? Yeah, girl, are you guys married or just boyfriend and girlfriend? And I'm like, let's I don't even know how I'm gonna tell them that Joyce Gillette. I don't know how to break it to them.
I would just say it. Oh, No, I'm not supposed to say anything about that. It's some information. Never mind. I'll tell you afterward.
Man,
it's
guys.
a search thing. Sorry. I can't.
Hi,
tell you
Doc.
right now. Dr. Wittenbach Sanchez said,
He wants to come home.
said same thing about lepers 100 years ago. U.S. Attorney General Barr says stay-at-home orders are like house arrest. Imagine what he will say about grabbing folks out of their homes. He's going to ask if Guam is a part of China. That's what he's going to say.
China. Is Guam a part of China?
Eric Addis says, heard the golfing was great at the Philippines.
It was?
Until Corona came back.
Yeah.
DT says, if what Denorsi said is true, will they stop and seize Melinda? Oh, I know who they're talking about. Never mind. Dominic Santiago says, come to Guam. We have it under control. It's sunny and 75. Visit our beautiful warm beaches as we have multiple layers of protection for you.
And Lulu Bell, everybody will remember that, and we will make sure of it.
Anthony Paris says, I think they better let Carl take over the communication network to talk and explain the COVID-19 epidemic. I think so too, Anthony.
Where is Pububsky?
Dr. Ann Pubutsky?
Are not epidemiologists?
I don't know. I haven't heard from her in a while. Where's Janela Carrera, for that matter? Ismael Velez says, a practitioner of martial arts, Governor Kim Jong-lu holds a black sash in Kung Flu. Like David Carradine, she tackles any adventure, and with a swift kick, she takes on the legislature. With an elbow strike, front kick, and back fist too, and down goes Ken, winner Kim Jong-lu. But Ken's just playing possum. Time is on his side, waiting for the right moment to turn the tide. This is a sonnet, I think. Now the governor is distracted, and not by a man, but by her mortal enemy, the Wuhan clan. The invisible enemy, as declared by Talina Nelson, one of 3 senators. Who else is in? None other than the drunken monkey, a.k.a. the speaker, and Amanda the Kung Fu Panda, a.k.a. pleasure seeker. But will Ken dare strike? He is outnumbered, fighting against those who our taxes have plundered. But the time is now, Ken. Give her the 1-2 and knock down from the throne Queen Kim Jong-lu. That was poetic.
Ishmael. Yeah. Ishmael, can we start the petition again? I think it'll work now. People will sign it.
Michael San Juan says, private property. I didn't vote for her crap. I didn't vote for her crap either. I voted for honest, clean government, and, it was between her and Ray Tenorio. Dr. Winbach Santos says, in my youth, your house could be quarantined for measles, but no one removed. Charles Eckert says, nice backdrop, Eric Rosario.
That's all you, Cello.
Joshua Duenas says, could things possibly get any worse? Oh, don't say that, Joshua. Don't say that. Things could absolutely get worse with Julian Guerrero at the helm. James Atkins is laughing his butt off. Amy Jackson wants to know. I'll tell you later, Amy. Anthony Paris says, Troy, at this day and age, be what you want to be. Respect you even if you're a gelala. I love you, Chalu. I love you. Amy Jackson says what everybody else says. I just want my tax. Mm-hmm. Right?
And my stimulus.
And my stimulus. John Ananish says, I'm sorry to have to say this, but it won't be a good situation to have anyone come into my house and try to remove a member of my family. Not a good idea. That's definitely not a good idea. Daniel Paxanjan says they should start retesting those who recovered.
They cannot test the people who recovered because they haven't tested the people who actually have it.
If they're going to do it, they need to have the person go to wherever the machine is, take the swab, put it directly into the machine. This is according to Abbott Laboratory, which in conjunction with the CDC and the FDA.
I'm telling you, our government just makes up crap just to make them sound good.
Bizarre.
I'm telling you, this is so bizarre, Troy.
But it's like, I just can't tell anymore what good their lying does, except I think you're right. I think it really is just a matter of pride for the governor. It's just that simple. She doesn't want the people to know that she was wrong.
Yeah.
And maybe there are other things.
Like all the screw-ups in all the agencies, she knows that they're screw-ups, but she can't let them go because the DOC guy, she lost that battle. So this one can't be let go because she can't take another hit.
Yeah. Have you noticed that they don't allow Chris Barnett to ask questions anymore?
Yeah, but Chris Barnett did say on his Twitter, whatever.
That was an easy setup for me. But we're not going to take it.
Okay, wait. On his Twitter, he states that the governor's press conferences, at the end of the press conference, her team calls the news agencies and corrects what she said. She didn't mean to say whatever she said on camera. This is what she meant to say.
That's ridiculous.
So even the questions being asked on there, it's pointless. You're not going to get any real answers.
Why does Himlu trot out Ms. Pobutsky, the territorial epidemiologist, to explain forecasts and projections instead of the internist in full accessories?
DT, she cannot, and according to Dr. Pobutsky's records, she is not an epidemiologist. She's a sociologist.
Correct. Kandit had an actual epidemiologist. Check that out. Mong Jong Song says petition to remove Lulu bells. Let's go. Sanjay Diwan actually is trying to get a protest going Saturday at the Ostumbo thing, but I don't know. I wouldn't join a protest only because social distancing.
Careful. Let's just start up a online petition, guys.
Nate Horn says all these mistakes and yet they rehired the guy who can't keep an effing pool clean. Right. Mong Jong Song is very serious. Petition to remove Lulu Bell. Come on, start petition to remove Lulu Bell. And replace Surfan with Governor Mike Nicholas and Lieutenant Governor Therese Terlahi. How about that? Michael San Juan says, I've seen a pattern when income comes. Oh, shoot, it just went away. When income comes. I lost it, sorry. Oh, there. From point A and then distribute to point B equals point Y. The Z is percentage on the side. Hashtag uncertain amount for hashtag so-called emergency purpose. COVID check Guam 2020 says, they're mishandling me. I like that. COVID check Guam 2020. Anthony Perez says, can it be expecting indictment under Lulu administration for misappropriation of funds with the way they are going and Lulu on the throne and her advisors leading for her? That will be the kicker for the closing of coronavirus epidemic. Sean Duenas asks, what has our lieutenant governor done?
Well, can you answer that?
I don't know because the communications people are not explaining. They only ever put Governor Lilian Guerrero up, or Dr. Mike Cruz, or Dr. Felix Cabrera, Linda
Who
DeNorsi.
Sets that up? Like, who says, okay, the governor's the one going on today, and then who sets that up where Josh is standing behind her? Who handles that?
It should be Janela Carrera, because she's the director of communications. And in that role, she's also considered the Joint Information Coordinator. But in this administration, I don't know whether they're following the rules. It's very hard to tell. And I can't imagine that Janela Carrera is bright enough to understand all of that stuff. No, really. Or I don't even think she's read the emergency response plan, like she should have done before the day she took that job, because it's just such an important position to have during an emergency. When you're the Joint Information Coordinator, you have to be on top of it. Like like when you say something to someone in the Joint Information Center, it's not because you're trying to flex your muscle or because there's just no room and no time for superfluous words or arguments or anything. It's a military structure. When you say something, the people who are in your team are just supposed to do it right away because time is of the essence in an emergency response.
And that's because the whole island is dependent on you.
Yes. And you are going to slip up sometimes because sometimes the pressure is going to be so great.
And when you do slip up, what's the best thing to do?
You say you slip up and you move on. And you correct the information.
You can't back your eyes all the time.
But you cannot just send out a news release saying, oh, I messed up. You gotta call up every single radio station, call up every single reporter, do a Facebook Live, an Instagram Live, say it. Say, this is the information that we put out. It was wrong. This is the correct information. and this is whatever, right? Find every single way to communicate with people, with as many people as possible in a timely manner. And when you do that, people are asking fewer questions, and there's a lot less confusion, and there's a whole lot less criticism, just because you are putting out information so quickly that there really is no need from the public to desire any more information. That's really how it should be run. Biba Guam says, I wonder how long can Gov Guam survive without any money coming in. You know, maybe that'll be the focus of our show tomorrow. I have been reviewing the reports from Standard & Poor's that the government of Guam has been withholding from the public. It's an April 7 report, and we'll have more on that tomorrow.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I don't have anything more.
Oh, just the tax things, guys. If you made zero income for 2018 and you didn't file tax, you go to guamtax.com and you have to scroll down to I had it here, hold on. guamtax.com, you scroll down a little, and then you're gonna come to the latest, and it's gonna say economic impact payment for non-filers. When you're gonna have to find, I don't know where the government, with everything closed, I don't know how you're going to print out this if you don't have a printer at home. I actually asked a girlfriend of mine to do it, and she did it for me. But you print out this paper, you have to fill it out, and you have to drop it at Revenue and Tax Dropbox. Now, it's a very simple form. It's your name, your social security number, your mailing address if your home doesn't have a mail delivery, and then your dependents if you have any, and then it's going to ask you the following: if you and your spouse receive Social Security, retirement or SSDI benefits, or you and your spouse receive Veterans Disability Compensation, or your income level does not require you to file a tax return for 2018 and 2019. So, and then you just sign it with the date. And if you want it returned back to you, you have to put 2 copies, one with the self-addressed stamped envelope, and then they'll get it back to you. According to Revenue and Tax, when you put it in the Dropbox, your paper goes into isolation for a week.
I'm not even gonna comment on that.
Okay? When you drop this in the Dropbox, the people over there at Revenue and Tax receive it, and it gets put on.
Now, I have a question. If the paper tests positive for COVID-19, will they yank the paper out without a warrant and send the paper into COVID-19 jail?
Actually, they won't test it. They don't test.
Oh, no, because they're going to put it in a solution, in 1 milliliter solution, not 3 milliliter VMT.
Yeah.
And then they're going to put it into the Abbott machine. And then it's going to come back negative.
Yeah.
So expect your tax refund in 50 years.
Yes.
That's the bottom
How do
line.
they test if people rub their chili on it?
No, rub the stimulus on your,
There's only one thing, never mind.
Well, so guys, that'll get you your stimulus. That will, it's gonna take a little longer than expected, but yeah. So that's what you do. I don't know where you're gonna print it. Don't ask me. I can't help you with that. If Kandit had if we had ink, I would have printed it here and I would have printed it a lot and tell you guys to pick it up outside. But we don't. We ran out of ink.
And we cannot go to the store because it's closed.
So that's all I can help you with so far. As far as food stamps, the people at the food stamp place, the people at Revenue and Tax, they are working behind the scenes. So get your applications in there because the governor said to go apply for food stamps. But they are working their butts off, so.
Everything is gonna be okay. Everything, Nick, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be fine. If you're having problems with you're hungry, Nick, my suggestion is go and food stamps, and go and visit food stamps, and Nick, Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna come out of this stronger than we've ever been because we're doing good. The curve is it's flat. It's flat, and I think it's flat. But
Your
I'm not
butt's
sure.
flat.
I'm not sure if it's flat. But that's why we have Linda here and Dr. Cruz. And they can tell us more about that. But Nick, to answer your question, if you're hungry, I'm sorry you cannot come to my house and eat. For Candid News, I'm Troy Torres. Don't be like Maria Miller. Please pluck your eyebrows.
And I'm Johnny Rosario. Stay home, Guam.